Welcome to another installment of the APB recap. Let's talk about the Hooplas. Indonesia strikes once again with its puritanical rules. This time, it involves hiding 18+ content from all of Indonesians' Twitter users. Well, most of the 18+ content. Some of them. Small portion of them. I mean, I followed a bunch of accounts that make 18+ content, and I can still see them on Twitter. So I guess they're only starting to implement the rule. Either that, or they're not really doing a good job. I mean, their cyber stuff has been compromised as of late. I already talked about that in a separate video. I'll link to it at the end of the video. You should find it there. But yeah, seems like a bunch of artists, especially 18+ content artists, are not gonna get a good clout in Indonesia's Twitter. So if you want to reach out the Indonesians' 18+ enjoyers, you're gonna have to reach them out somewhere else. But is there a way for us Indonesians to bypass this really stupid stuff? Yes, there is actually. It's called the VPN. No, really. I turn on VPN and whatever accounts that got blocked, it got reinstated again in my timeline. The only reason why I managed to encounter this particular screenshot is because I just forgot to turn on VPN. Well, at least we don't suffer a complete internet outage like a certain Middle Eastern country. Speaking of 18+ content, there was a little bit of hope that Tumblr is going to go back to its traditional roots and finally let 18+ content reign supreme once again. According to the new guidelines, you can label sexual content and make sure that people can get warned when they're about to get sexual content. So 18+ content can still exist as long as the users warn people about the content beforehand. Sounds amazing, right? Well, not really. Some people have tried to post 18+ content on Tumblr, and what ended up happening is that the 18+ content got censored or blocked. It's nice to see that Tumblr has turned as backwards in terms of technology as my country again. But hey, I'm not the one running the website at the moment. They don't want their users to go back? That's their prerogative. The discussion of PCs and consoles are somehow still going on even to this day. Whichever platform you chose is entirely up to you. But being a computer teacher, especially for the Zoomers, has taught me that there is a surprisingly large amount of people, even Zoomers, who are clueless about the basics operations of a computer, like how to use a file explorer. I know I brought this several times, but I have to emphasize this, and I'm doing my best to make sure they know. Point is, computer is complicated, so I can understand why people opt for console instead, even if it costs a lot more money. And you know what? I get it. Lots of people rather pay for a technician than do the repairing themselves. Some repair them better than others. What? I don't want to pay $300 for a replacement when $30 worth of blind spot mirrors do the job just fine. It's a goddamn mirror. There are, however, some opinions in the PC versus console landscape that are contentious. No, you don't need $2,000 for a PC that's equivalent to a PS5. Nowadays, $1,000 will get you a great PC that is not only the equivalent, it's even better. Heck, you can even get a 1,000 pre-built or laptop that can perform almost as good as a PS5, depending on the game. But one thing is for certain, a PS5 cannot run Switch games. A PC can. Just take that to consideration. You're right about not needing $2,000 to have a PC better than consoles. But if you're gonna make a PC under $1,000, you might as well stay on console, and I stand by that. If you're gonna go to PC from console, the jump ain't worth it if you don't go all the way in. No, that is wrong. Even if the PC can only do half of what the PS5 can do, it can still play loads and loads of really old titles that are still good to this day as well. And that's why you should get yourself a PC. If you want to play old titles again, or even for the very first time, the PC is the platform for you. But if you only want to play the latest stuff, I guess you can take the PS5, especially one from GameStop where they let you trade your PS4 for $25. What a steal! Literally. Incels are apparently getting more and more dangerous. They're getting more dangerous, predatory, and radicalized as well. It's not just because they're desperate for anyone to bang them, it's also because they're starting to aim much younger. Much younger. They can't score with women in general, so they're going to score with kids instead. No, really, they are. Alongside spreading all sorts of messages wanting to kill or rape women, they're also saying that there's no reason to be against pedophilia. In other words, there are reasons to be for pedophilia. In other words, these people are not only incels, they're pedophile incels. Someone needs to get shot. Now, these are all based on the words of the mainstream media, so whether or not this is true or just complete misinformation is completely beyond me. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the case. There are a group of people who are really desperate to have sex, and when there are millions of you out there, maybe you should, I don't know, screw each other? Diversity and representation tend to get rather silly at times. This is one of them. Real Virtual Beauty aims to increase diversity and representation of female characters in games. Okay, first off, if you're going for a diversity and representation initiative, do not ever name it Real Virtual Beauty. First off, real and virtual kind of contradict each other. And second, Real Virtual Beauty sounds like something you heard off of a porn site. We hope that together, we can make real beauty a reality in digital worlds. Okay, hold on a second. What makes you think that a beauty is real? What is real beauty? The header is filled with a bunch of people who are disabled, I guess, but the thing is, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Someone can find disabled people attractive. Heck, there's a really damn good visual novel that explores that topic called Kato Shoujo. Play that visual novel. That visual novel is amazing. And in real life, it is possible to find people that appreciate you regardless of who you are. What you should not do is desperately try to convince the world that you are beautiful. You don't go to everyone's face and tell them that you're beautiful. You show to them that you're beautiful. And if you have to tell the world that you are beautiful instead of, showing them, then you're about as good as a serial cheater who tells their lover that they love them. Yeah, right. I face zombies, fire dragons, but no women like me! Wow. There's literally no better way for me to illustrate why all of this representation and diversity crap are nothing but narcissism. There's nothing wrong with having characters who are diverse. There is, however, something wrong with demanding diversity just by the virtue that you are a minority. If you want representation, if you want diversity, make something awesome that features you. That's how we Indonesians got to Hollywood, and yet no one's taking notes on that. Quiet quitting is a rather interesting phenomenon that happened ever since the concept of jobs are created. It's when the employees of your business are doing the absolute bare minimum of work in order to achieve the absolute most bare minimum result. That tends to happen when employees are not very enthusiastic with what they're working on and would rather do literally anything else in their lives. And CEOs are apparently worried of employees quiet quitting. Don't worry, executives of big businesses that don't want to be held accountable for their crap management. At least your employees are not unionizing. A lot of leaders and clients I work with, some for the first time in 30 years, they're in a state of fear as an employer. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe because you as managers don't treat your employees very well. In another installment of big corporations treating their employees like garbage, the creator of Final Space, which is a cartoon series that was streaming on a lot of platforms, confirmed that it's becoming a tax write-off for Warner Bros. Discovery and will be gone from all sorts of channels. Can't get them on Netflix, can't get them on Amazon Prime as well. The only way for you to get the show is if you pirate them. That's the only way for you to not get screwed by the corporations. This is why I still use good old MP3s for my music. No, really, I still use MP3s. I got YouTube Music from my YouTube Premium subscription, and there's one time where the artist whose music I saved on YouTube Music got their music removed for some stupid reason, and I can't access the music anymore. And that's the reason why I pirate, because you can't trust big companies to keep their stuff at their servers due to some stupid regulations. It can still be remedied if you got the physical copy, but what if there isn't any? What if the physical copies are out, like the case with Final Space? At that moment, sailing the seas seems to be the only possible solution to get that stuff, and you're all gonna have to learn how to do it in one way or the other, especially when Netflix blocks VPNs these days. Makoto Shinkai, the director of Your Name, a good if a tad bit overrated movie, and Weathering with You, aka Your Name 1.2, announced this new movie called Suzume no Tojimari, aka Your Name 1.25. This time it features a girl and a chair. Ah, I see. So IKEA Erotica has finally received a proper adaptation. But there are some people who take issues with this revelation. Straight people will literally write about a story of someone falling in love with a fucking chair before one about gay people. You want straight people to write about gay people? Okay then, but be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. It's kind of interesting how My Hero Academia is one of the shonens out there that embrace their characters' sexuality. I can see why. Their female characters are pretty attractive, and their male characters don't need to have fan service when people are so dedicated on shipping the male characters when one person even paid $2,000 just to make sure that their favorite ship wins a freaking Twitter poll. Point is, their fans are pretty dedicated, but they can also be pretty hypocritical, as illustrated by the many times where the My Hero Academia fans complained about the female sexualization of the characters, while being completely heads over heels about the male sexualization of the characters, most of which are being done by the fans. So when the real form of the Invisible Girl is finally revealed and the cover shows her nearly naked, people are outraged because she's still a high schooler. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to anime. Sorry to say this to you all, but most anime characters are high schoolers, and therefore if you enjoy anime, you enjoy high schoolers, you pedo. Even if you mostly watch anime that doesn't feature high schoolers, you're still a pedo because the characters look like a high schooler. That's why manga can't have their stories in a college setting, because you people are still gonna be mad about it. You simply cannot win as someone who watches anime, no matter if it's anime that features adults or if it's anime featuring high schoolers. Actually, you can still win, because most of these people that complain about all of this, they never bother to call the police on you. I genuinely think that there needs to be a license for parenting, because some people in this godforsaken world are irresponsible with their junks and can be a parent in just one simple night. And even if they're responsible with that, they are still irresponsible with how they parent their children. Some are even straight up abusive and controlling. Like this one, for example. My son at 16, bedtime is 9. He has no phone and no internet access without a parent sitting in the room. Then it is limited to an hour max. There are parental passcodes on the TV and he can only watch certain TV programs. Wow, what a great parent you are. Just go full authoritarian in your son's whole freaking life. Crazy that those are gonna be the exact rules you follow in the nursing home.
Wow, what do you say after that one? Brutal, savage, wrecked, absolutely taken down.
And that's all for the recap today. My stream channel's linked down below. Go subscribe to see my regular streams at Friday or Saturday. Once again, huge thanks to everyone who like and subscribe, and thank you so much for those who support me on PayPal, Patreon, etc. If you want to see your name on the list of these awesome people, you can check out the links down below. Just $1 and you'll see it right there. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time.